Right, once this tart has had its time in the oven, that little bit further, you can see the crumble topping gets nice and golden brown. You're going to remove it from the pastry. For f***'s sake, what's the tart tin? Tart tin. Now, when it comes to dessert quick fixes, this one holds a special place in my heart because when I was growing up, one of the first ever baking recipes I learned to make was from a kid's baking book, and it was to learn how to make shortbread biscuits with a little dollop of jam on top, and I still remember the smells of it coming out of the oven. So this version, this jam crumble tart, is essentially a homage to that. It's one of those things that kind of is a sophisticated version of those childhood biscuits, and the best part of this is that we're going to make the entire dough in a food processor. We're going to use that to make the base and the topping that makes up this beautiful jam crumble tart. So to start it off, we're going into a food processor with some plain flour, some desiccated coconut. Now this is my favorite ingredient in here because when you bake this, and anytime you add desiccated coconut to any pastry, it gives you this wonderful sort of earthy, sweet, exotic flavor that wafts around the kitchen, and when you bite into it, it's pretty spectacular too. To that, we're gonna add some cold butter, and really important, it's cold butter because that ensures you're gonna get lovely sort of flaky, crumbly pastry here. So that goes in, and the last little touch is some vanilla bean paste. So about a teaspoon of this. If you can't get vanilla bean paste, look for vanilla extract, not vanilla essence. Vanilla extract is where it's at, or this vanilla bean paste, which is so good. It has the little speckles of vanilla, so you know you're getting the good stuff. So we have all our core ingredients, and the last one to bring it all together is an egg yolk. So pop on the lid, and now it's all about pulsing action. With the food processor and with any dough you make in it, you don't want to overwork the gluten in the flour. So pulse actions until you bring this together, and you'll start to see it forming a sort of a craggy and rough dough. And once it's in a good place, just like it is now, we're going to take up about a quarter of this mixture and we're going to transfer it out into a bowl, and this is going to form the topping of this jam crumble tart. The rest, however, is now going to be transferred out to a little tart tin. You do not have to line this because it's quite a buttery mixture and it won't stick to the bottom. Now, if you're like me and you don't want to do too much work and you don't want to have to roll out your dough, this is the recipe for you, because all you got to do is use a spoon or even your hands and press that dough into the tart tin. You want to look for about, I would say, about a centimeter or half a centimeter in thickness, and you're going to push that right up the sides so that you get a nice even tart tin lined with a beautiful jam crumble tart pastry. Now, I can promise you one thing, this is not the most elegant and sophisticated tart, and I kind of love that about it. It reminds me of when I used to make these things when I was a kid. So it's now going to go into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, that's around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So straight into the oven, about 10 minutes, you're looking for a nice golden color. It's had its 10 minutes in the oven, and you can see now it's gone a lovely golden brown color. It's risen up ever so slightly, but that's exactly what you're after. And now this is where it really gets exciting in terms of the filling. It's super simple. I've got basically a jar of raspberry jam, to which I'm gonna add some nice fresh raspberries. And we're gonna stir that through. And then once it's nicely stirred, I like the fact that you get a few fresh ones in there because it's nice little pops of flavor. You're now going to spread this across the base of this jam tart. So spread that all the way over, and you don't have to be too careful with this. All you're looking for is a sort of a rough and ready spread across the base, just like the rest of this entire recipe. Now, don't forget we have that reserved crumble mixture. So just pile that crumble topping all the way across the little jam mixture. Get all that crumble topping all the way over the top, and now this is gonna go back into the oven. It's gonna bake off for like about 10 minutes or so. You just wanna look for it to visually be nice and golden and cooked through, and then it's time to eat. Right, this tart has now had its time in the oven. It's gone golden brown on the top. We've got a lovely crumbly topping going on. I removed it from the tart case and allowed it to cool on a wire rack, and now it's pretty much ready to serve. So I'm gonna take a nice big slice of this. You've got that jam in the center and you've got the crumble on the top. And just look at that. You've got a layer of jam, you've got perfectly cooked pastry, and you've got the crumble topping. I'm gonna place this on a plate. We're gonna take a nice dollop of cream just on top, and then take up a fork. And it's time for my favorite moment of this channel. That is just like the taste of my childhood right there. And it's kind of elevated a little bit because it's now in a tart form and you've got coconut going on there. But this is just so easy to make. I urge you to try it. It is a real showstopper, even though you've seen just how simple it is to make. I will leave all the details, as always, in the link below, which will bring you to my website. All the ingredients are there and the method, you'll get everything. While you're there, also subscribe to my newsletter because you will get free recipes just like this one right into your inbox every single week. While we're talking about subscribing, subscribe to the channel because you will get recipes like this in video form. And if you click the bell button, you will get notifications as soon as these recipe videos land. Tell me your creative ideas on how you would adapt this recipe in the comments box below. And until then, my friends, I'm going into a corner and I'm eating this on my own, so goodbye.